Hello and welcome. We are
the Sisters of the Holy Fiber. This is episode 13. My name is Devin, also known as Rambunctious Guy.
And I'm Heather, also known as Tiny Kiwi. And then you say something about the new and returning users.
Well, we have not done this part very consistently, because you have been saying your part next, and then I say mine. So you say your part. So grab your knitting needles and craft along with us.
So grab your seam ripper if you're having as bad of a day as me, or your crochet hook if you're not, and join us while we craft and chat.
And welcome to our new viewers, and welcome back to everybody who's been along for the ride with us. What are you working on today?
You first, madam.
Okay, my current whip is my sock. I am now 2 rows farther than I was last week because I didn't work on it at all.
Oops.
That's it. That's what I'm working on. What are you working on?
I'm, as you can tell from the seam ripper in my hand, or if you were listening and not watching, then I guess you can't tell. But I'm ripping a seam on the headband that I started with this lovely vintage fabric.
I love that fabric.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Pebbly and earthy looking.
They were just pillows back in the day. Grandma made some pillows out of this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I totally didn't really think this headband through. So I'm going to go back and rip some seams and try to put it back together with some elastic properly this time. Mm-hmm. But that's all my whips.
That's it for you?
That's it for whips. You know, I got no other whips, but I do have a sneaky finished object.
Yay!
Totally psyched you out, and I did.
You did.
I did.
She was so bad, y'all. I asked her before we started recording, and she was like, "I'll tell you about that later."
Yay!
You got me, April Fools.
I totally did.
It's so pretty.
Yay!
Okay, hold it still. You gotta hold it still. There, now another view. Hold it still.
Wait. I want to put it this way so you can see my strikiness.
So awesome and mathematical. I love it.
I know, isn't it? Here, let me hold it up so you can see more of it. Yay! And it's like so enormously long once I took it off the needle. So
yes. And
I'm really happy with my bind-off edge because it was a different bind-off that I haven't done before, and like it was fussy and it hurt my hands, and I was like, I hate this because it's taking forever, right? But it has a lovely, nice, stretchy edge, and it still looks tidy without being loose, so I'm happy. I like it better than my, I don't know what you'd call it, my running edge, my cast-on edge. Well, my cast-on's up there, just a tab cast-on, but this other edge with the sides, not so fond of that. I don't know if I needed like a double yarn over or something to give it a little more stretch, because like on the one side where I've carried the yarns, I carried them loosely enough. It's not really a problem. It has the exact same tension as my other side. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's a little tight.
Yes, that is something that happens with shawls, and you have to like purposefully knit loosely on the edge to prevent that from happening. I learned that the hard way too. I have a shawl exactly like that. And I was like, I guess I should have knit these. You like seriously have to like make giant loopy things. But anyway, it still looks, it's lovely.
And for a first shawl, it's, if you'll pardon my language, bitchin' awesome.
Yes.
So happy.
It's really, really cool.
Yes, indeed. The only thing I wish I had was some blocking wires to give it a better shape. Mm-hmm. So that I could block it properly. Mm-hmm. And I could block it, yeah. I just do it better with wires, let's just say. That's the sum up. No pins. But, I don't have any wires because I've never had a project so big before that I've needed to block.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do you have blocking wires?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anybody who does. I'm going to have to ask around at Knit Night and see if someone does so I can reblock it and make it look a little nicer. It's not too bad. It's just that there's a couple of places where I'd like to just even it out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really so concerned that I will be like, I can't wear it until I block it, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm probably just totally going to wear this. It needs washing more than it needs blacking. Stinky! So, yay! So I totally tricked you, and I have a finished object. Finally! Yay! And it's a big one. We've been waiting for that one for 3 months.
Well, we are, but there are owls, They were 3-month projects, because mine's done too!
Yay!
Yay!
It's magic! So, show. I saw the picture that you did, and it's totally awesome, and
I would stand up, but I can't. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Oh, no, my phone's not here. Sorry, everybody. I have pictures on my Rav page. It's just one picture of the whole sweater, but it's done now, and it's all together, and I am calling it that.
Yay!
It's a little bit big on the top,
where?
I figured out, the back piece is bigger than it's supposed to be.
Oh.
So I just have a little extra room back there.
Uh-huh.
And, but, you know what I can do? I can just move my camera. Here we go.
Yay!
Yay! So there's the whole sweater and my pretty buttons. Oh, and then do you see the top button? Do you remember this button?
I can't really see what it is because...
Oh, it's a seashell. You can't see it?
No. It's kind of hold still and maybe it'll finally focus for me because my connection's kind of laggy. Well, I'll just have to look at it later.
Okay. It's a seashell button that there were 2 seashell buttons and they were in Mom's buttons for forever. I remember them being in her button thing for a long, long time and I snagged them at some point. And I only had 7 buttons, and I needed 8.
Right.
And I wanted to use these pearly ones because they went nice with the with my fabric. So I just was like, well, what button can I use on top for kind of a little accenty thing? So I used this one.
Cool.
And I didn't want to go buy buttons.
And I do remember that button. Oops, sorry for the noise.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. So even though I can't see it, I know what you're talking about.
You know which one I'm talking about, huh?
That button box of Mom's was, the most fun thing.
Yeah.
That and her, I don't know if you remember that box of smaller, containers and boxes that she had,
She
that had,
so much containers and boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Make you wonder where I get it from. I showed that, by the way, to Tracy and her boyfriend and everybody else that was at sewing night, and everybody was totally loving your sweater, by the way.
Oh, well, that's good.
They were very impressed.
Yay!
Even Robert himself, who is a knitter.
Robert himself.
I know, right? Sounds very awesome. So that's our whips and FOs. It's a very short whips and FOs section this week, but just fine with me. I'm so glad to be done with that shawl. I'm kind of in shock now. I don't know what to do with myself. The whole time that I've been doing this shawl, I've been thinking about everything else that I wanted to be doing. Mm-hmm. Like that Jane hat that I haven't touched in 2 months. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm free to do whatever I like and...
Now you can.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
So how come we're not hearing about the Jane hat today?
Because I totally haven't touched it. I'm oh my God. I practically made my fingers bleed getting this shawl done in time. I really kind of overextended myself with this shawl.
What did you turn in for your one project?
A coaster.
Where is it?
It's at Tracy's house. I forgot it there. But they almost didn't accept it because I didn't pay attention to the prompt. I totally spaced out.
Oh,
no. They asked for you to... I mean, it's like I read the prompt all the way through, and I have no idea what happened between my brain and, like, writing the thing. But, you were supposed to make it something that you could find in Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher's office.
Uh-huh.
You know, like something that Professor Lupin would have had, or something that Professor Quirrell would have had, right? Then I put McGonagall, who was never a data instructor. So I was like, this is found in McGonagall's love, and no. So I posted like 3 hours before the deadline. I was like, oh good, I got it done. And I didn't check back into Ravelry until after midnight. And then the teacher was like, oh, you have 3 hours to fix it. And I'm like, oh no! It's like 3 minutes past midnight.
No!
And I was like, calm down, Heather. It's invisible points in an invisible game, and if you don't get points for your owl and your class, it's just invisible points. Let it go. But I was like having a meltdown, like, oh my god, all my owl work for nothing if this homework doesn't get accepted, and...
Well, no, your owl points would still count. It would just, it's your sorting priority for next term that's affected. So even if you had finished your owl and you didn't get your one project in, your owl points would have still counted. But anyway, continue.
Oh. I thought you had to have your classes in for your owl to be counted.
No.
Well,
that affects your sorting priority. At least that's the way it was last term. I don't know.
Right.
They keep changing the rules.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it was like the worst picture too. I hope they don't have a problem with the picture. Like, I looked so bad. I want to burn that picture off the internet, but I would rather have credit for turning in my owl than have a beautiful picture, so...
Mm-hmm.
So now I tried to take some better pictures today with some light, but it was so windy out. I was like, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. So, yeah. I don't know. At least I'll get some... Maybe I'll have to take better pictures tomorrow, but if they don't accept my owl at this point, I'm just walking away and saying, okay.
Yeah.
I got it done. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just happy that I got it done and that I don't have to think about knitting every day. At least for another month. So, I really think I'm going to take it a little slower next term. At least that's what I said last term, too. But then, it rolls around and I'm like, oh, I want to do an owl just like everybody else.
Yeah, I know.
The owl fever strikes and...
Mm-hmm. And I can do an owl and an order mission and everything all at once.
Yeah. And I totally proposed that, and that was insane, people. I am a really, really slow crafter. I'm a really slow person in general. I was kind of born slow, I just do everything at my own pace, and that happens to be slower than the rest of the world, so... Proposing so much was not such a smart idea. But I have so many small projects now, like that Jane hat, and the Rosaline hat that I really wanted to do that I didn't get to either. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I really think I should just focus on that, like, smaller 1 month, kind of 1.5 month projects next term, instead of big projects that eat up my time. Mm-hmm. I like having a big finished project, but it's just... I don't think I can handle the mental monotony of it.
Yeah.
Well, I say that now. We'll see what I say in a month when
I know.
The temporary insanity hits me again. Good gracious. So, and I forgot that wasn't my only whip. I've also been helping Tracy with sewing projects because we're doing the Renaissance Fair that's in our area, and you have to have period-appropriate costumes. And since it's the week before that starts, everybody's frantically sewing, so...
Sew faster!
Yeah, exactly. So she's got stuff, and I'll be helping her out with that probably tomorrow. And just sewing like shirts and stuff and doublets and whatever. I'll probably just be cutting patterns and stuff while she sews.
That's
Did I tell you
nice of
she got a serger? Okay, that's totally tangenting, but I'm jealous.
That's okay.
Back on track. Sorry, we're way off track today.
No, we're not. You were on track for a little while there because you were talking about your whips. And it was funny because we were talking about like, oh, we're so low on whips and FOs, but we filled up the time there.
Indeed we did, just like we always do. We always think we don't have anything to talk about, and next thing you know, we've been talking for an hour.
Yes.
That's the sister power.
Yes, it is. Sister power!
Yay! Okay, so now I'm really going to get on track. Do you have anything for brainy moments this week?
I do.
Ooh, go ahead.
So, this is the first time I've knit a cardigan that needed buttons. Okay. I knitted a cardigan, and then I chickened out. No, I didn't really chicken out, but I saw somebody had done this one project that I made, and they'd put snaps on so you couldn't see, so just like a straight button band, and the snaps were on the inside. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do that way I don't have to do buttonholes.
Right.
And I was going to do buttons this time. So it's the first time I did buttonholes, and I was good and made a swatch. The Knit FM podcast that I have mentioned before has an episode. Oh, my audio is going funky. Sorry, our audio is kind of going in and out today. Anyway, they have a podcast. They have an episode called Buttonholes and Button Bands, where they just talk about buttonholes and button bands and how to pick up stitches and all these sorts of considerations that you, and why you, I mean, they start at the very basics, like why do you need a button band, and the quality of knit fabric that makes you even need a button band in the first place. So, and then they also talk about their favorite buttonholes.
Okay.
And of course, I still can't remember their names, but that's okay. So this buttonhole here is a 1-row buttonhole. So in my pattern directions, it told me to go to the place where I wanted the buttonhole, cast off 3 stitches, continue knitting. Then on the second row, when I was coming back, to cast on 3 stitches and then keep going, which is a way to make a buttonhole. This way, though, you can make it in 1 row. It's a little bit of a complicated, it sounds complicated. If I was going to, talk to you about how to do it, it sounds complicated, but it's really not. I'm going to go through it really fast, and I also took a video of myself doing it, so you can check out our blog, and the little video will be there. So you go to where you want the buttonhole, and you can make this buttonhole as long as you want to, which is also convenient. Then the first step is to take your yarn to the front. Then you slip a stitch. Then you take your yarn to the back. You slip another stitch. You slip the first stitch over the second slip stitch. So you just casted a stitch off. And that business with the yarn coming back and forth will come later. So you just essentially cast off 1 stitch. So you slip another stitch from the left needle to the right needle, hop over the first slip stitch off the needle, and then you repeat until you have 3 stitches cast off. Mm-hmm. So you'll have now on your needles, on the right needle is that 1 stitch. So you need to take that stitch from the right needle back to the left needle. See, it sounds complicated. It's really not complicated. Anyway, now you turn your work over, and bring the working yarn up. And now because you did that funny business with the bringing the yarn forward and back before you cast off, the yarn is going to kind of pull up and make the side of the buttonhole stronger. So then you cast on 1 more stitch than you cast off using the knitted cast on. And you can look on YouTube for the knitted cast on. It's really easy to do. And you cast on 4 stitches. So, because I cast off 3 stitches, so I cast on 4. Then you turn your work back around. 1 stitch from the left needle over to the right needle. And then you cast off 1 of those cast on stitches over that needle over the stitch that you just slipped. Pull your yarn, and it will, because it was a cast on stitch, it will kind of cinch around that stitch. And then you keep going. Sounds complicated. It's really not. I took a video of it, and the knit.fm, you don't even have to listen to the podcast to look at the buttonhole. They have the directions right there. So if you go to our blog at sistersoftheholyfiber.wordpress.com, you can find the links to that blog post. So that's the buttonhole that I did. I also, because I was good and swatched, I did a 4-stitch buttonhole to see if my buttons needed a bigger buttonhole. I thought they were going to need this bigger button, and I was just like, I'll just go down to the lower one because knitting is stretchy, and I'm really glad I did, because once on the garment, like, it's fine now. It's the right size. It might be a little too loose. I mean, 2-stitch buttonhole, it wouldn't have been big enough, but yeah. The other one that they talk about is the double yarn over buttonhole. This buttonhole takes 3 rows, so you have to prepare it. I did this buttonhole for this top button. Because this button is shaped differently, I decided to do a different buttonhole for it. And also because the way this cardigan is knitted, if I had done this buttonhole up here the same way as these ones, I would have had a buttonholes like this and a buttonhole like this. So it would have been buttonholes like this and then a buttonhole like this. And I was like, no. That's bad symmetry.
Right.
So this buttonhole is a little bit, the double yarn over buttonhole is a little bit more vertical of a buttonhole than these ones, the 1-row ones. So,
how well does it fit that shell?
What?
How well does it fit that shell? Does it fit good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It fits nice. It's a little bit tight, but...
well, better that than the alternative.
Because the button, I was just looking at it now. The button is the shank, if my finger is the length of the button. The shank is like right here.
Yeah.
So if I put it through the hole on the shorter side, it goes through easier than if I put it through on the longer side. So.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
And I need to move this button over a little bit because it could just be moved over a little bit. I did not put grosgrain ribbon on because I was lazy and wanted to get it finished.
Gotcha.
If my buttons start coming, I kind of only loosely put on buttons, and the backing buttons are too big, and like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'll just wait till some buttons start falling off, and then I'll take it off and redo it.
Yeah.
So, but for now, it's done.
At some point, you just stop caring.
Yeah. So that is my brainy moment. It was fun doing this cardigan. I feel like I've been knitting for so long. I should be better at knitting sweaters, but I really haven't. Like, this is the first time I've done button bands and buttons and stuff, you know? So I'm trying to cut myself a little slack for not being perfect at it, since I've never done it before.
Oh, yeah, you did. Your blue cabled sweater was snaps, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I totally forgot that. I thought that was buttons for some reason.
It has the button band looking parts, but it doesn't have the holes. It just is snaps.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Let me grab... Do you mind if I go to mine now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Mind.
So, I thought I would share for my brainy moment how I made this journal. Do you remember this guy?
Yes. I love that journal.
Yeah, so, this is just, what do you call them? Moleskin journals, you know? They're kind of expensive. You could do it with anything that has a hard surface. But I wanted to put a decoration on it that would stay and not be just, you know, markers or something. Mm-hmm. So, and this is out of Mark Liata's Serpentine book. He has some really beautiful photographs of snakes. So what I did was I printed out one of his snakes on some, like sticker paper. Like the kind you use for mailing labels. Mm-hmm. And then I covered it in book tape. And then I cut it out with scissors and an X-Acto around the shape so that it didn't have the background and I could just use it as the whole thing as a giant sticker. And the book tape is like, if you've never used book tape before, it's kind of like really thick Scotch tape. Mm-hmm. the texture's different, and it's less flexible than Scotch tape because it's meant for like fixing bindery of books and things like that. So I wish I had 3-inch book tape when I made this one. I only had like, I think it was inch and a half wide book tape, so I had to use several strips.
Mm-hmm.
So where the book tape covers each other over the line, there's a small slight ridge where the book tape will start to peel up eventually. It hasn't yet, even though I've been lugging it around in my purse and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a real easy way to decorate my journal. And I've got my Ravelry sticker on the back. I totally got this when I ordered one of the shirts, and I was like, I'm putting that on my journal.
Yay! Cool.
Peeled it off the package. Here's another one of the snakes from Serpentine. And I think I've talked about that book before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the photographs are just really, really gorgeous snakes. So I'm glad that I found a way to put them on something and enjoy them more than just in a coffee table book, because that book is so big that I can't have it out. Mm-hmm. My place is tiny. So this way I get to enjoy looking at his snakes a little more often.
Yay!
It's a real easy way to decorate a journal and not have it look quite so juvenile as you do when you're scribbling on it in Sharpies. So that's my brainy moment. And book tape really is super awesome. If you've never had it before, do yourself a favor and get yourself a roll. It's just so handy for all kinds of repairs and labeling.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at the library, and so I just had access to book tape, and I had access to book cover, like, jacket material, yeah. So I could just, like, put a book jacket on whatever I wanted. So, like, my Barbara Walker Treasury of knitting stitches has a nice book jacket on it because I worked at the library and I was just like, da-da-da-da.
Yep. Yeah, that, the clear plastic for the dust jackets, that's the best stuff. I mean, it's, you have to order in a roll, so ordering it, for yourself doesn't make as much sense unless you just have a lot of books you need to cover. And I really enjoy jacketing and things like that and fixing books, doing book repair. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite parts of working at a library, was doing all the bindery and stuff. Mm-hmm. I wish they had even more tools and stuff, because I know there's fancier things. They never let me use there's a machine that melts the glue to glue the book together. I never got to use that. Mm-hmm. Just because it was in a different area. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I did get to use the industrial stapler, where you have to, like, step on it. It's like this huge thing. You put the whole book down, and then you, like, stomp on it to staple the whole book together. Pretty awesome. This is totally tangenting. Oh, well. Oh, well. I've had a really tangential day.
Well,
I think I've had
if our viewers and listeners aren't prepared for the tangents yet, we almost named this, like Tangential Sisters or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we almost did. Yeah. It was a close second.
It was really up there. Okay, so, nice brainy moment. I do love that journal of yours.
Yeah.
Okay, and on to...
Next.
What's next? Shiny. I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
I thought I did, and now I don't remember. What did I get that was new?
I just turned the heel of my sock. Boop.
Yay! You got it done. Well, oh, no, I do have it. Haha. Oh, no, I'm dropping it now.
She's dropping things.
It's now not so shiny. Okay, so... This is the most delicious tea ever, and I'm totally addicted now. Ta-da! It's called Bengal Spice.
You bought that because there's a tiger on the cover.
Yeah, you could probably tell from the Bengal tiger on there that had something to do with that region. This is so good. It's like caffeine-free chai tea. Ooh. And it doesn't have any, it's not decaffeinated. It's just herbal stuff that's put together to make it taste like chai tea without actually having any tea in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't even handle decaf stuff, and some people can't, because it still has a little caffeine, I super recommend this Bengal Spice. It's by Celestial Seasonings, and I've gone through the whole box already. I just put a little milk in there. It's so good. So that's been my go-to tea now. And I am loving it.
Yummy.
And I was so sad because I couldn't find another box at the store, and now I gotta go hunting for it. But I really went through that really quickly. Almost embarrassingly quickly. Tea, it keeps me going. Well, tea and coffee.
Delicious.
Yes. But that's my shiny for the week. It's only a small new thing, but I am super happy with it. Because it's hard to find a chai tea that doesn't have actual tea. So, what's next? Hyperventilate, maybe?
What?
What's the next section? Is it...
Hyperventilate?
Yeah, okay. Oh, good. I'm not going crazy. Or not crazier.
Sorry, I kind of I'm trying to figure out what I need to do next on my socks. I'm seeing if I can do it while I'm talking to you, and I don't think I can. Tea is yummy.
Yes.
That's good. Next section is hyperventilate.
Yay!
I'm not hyperventilating about anything special.
Okay.
So you go.
I've been, because of the Renaissance Fair that I'll be doing for the next 7 weekends or whatever, I've been, re-immersed in all that historical costuming and stuff. So some of that I really geek out about, like a lot of the needlework and all that stuff. And someone had covered their own buttons in, like, knotwork. They were the most beautiful buttons. Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't need another craft that I need to be doing. And then one lady who was a noble, so she has a more fancy costume, she has some black work, needlework on her collar. Oh, it was so nice. It's like all these crafts that I love, and now I'm immersed in them all over again, and I just really love historical costuming in general, so it's nice to go somewhere and look at a lot of it.
I bet.
So that's what I've been really excited about. So I've been, just looking into books on that time period and stuff, and realizing what I love about historical costuming. Some of that stuff, we were looking at some actual period pieces, and from like the 1600s, and all of the needlework was amazing. Good gracious. I mean, I know that the women didn't have really much to do except needlework. Well, I'm sure they had some household tasks and stuff they had to oversee, but they had a lot of leisure time for that needlework.
Well, and definitely the ability classes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, when you're not poor and have to earn your living or, grow your own food or whatever. Yeah, but even those costumes have their own interesting bits and bobs, because it's like, no zippers. Like, how did you keep your clothes together? It's just kind of fascinating,
Yeah.
It's true, though. Like, you don't realize how many things like buttons and snaps and zippers you take for granted, and they're a real big part of, your clothes today. Yep. So I've been really, enjoying all that stuff again. I gotta dig out some of my costuming books. I only have a couple, because I don't really sew well enough to make my own stuff. I just like it kind of as a hobby. But if you see me next week with some, like, new kind of bobbin lace or something that I'm making, then you'll know why.
I bet I will.
Yeah, because knitting isn't period accurate for Queen Elizabeth's reign. Knitting, crochet, and tatting, none of them are historical, so for that time period. Well, maybe in a couple regions, but not in England. So I get to watch everybody else do all the fun crafts that I don't get to see in the street very often. So
in the street. I like how you're going to the street to see crafting.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Knitters recognize each other, let me tell ya.
Yes, we do. Are you knitting? You're knitting socks. Let's talk.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's totally true. There's no faster way to make a friend than have knitting in your hand.
Uh-huh.
Or crochet or whatever you're doing, yeah. So.
All right.
How about books? What do you got for books?
I don't have any books this week.
Oh, really? Okay.
I used 2 last week for some reason. I don't know why I didn't save one. Whatever.
Because I rub off on you. I'm a bad influence, and you get excited, and then you have to talk about all your books, too. Like that one week when I came back from book off. I have a problem.
And its name is Book Off.
I don't know if you'll be able to see the title.
Hawks in Flight!
Yes! So this is the second edition of Hawks in Flight by Dunn, Sibley, and Sutton. Sibley is the one who did he does a bunch of other things. The book, and I think he had a tree book and maybe a fish book.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps busy, that David Sibley.
Yes,
he's always illustrating things. Yeah, so, and the second edition really does have a lot of changes to the first edition. But this is seriously the best book on, like, birds of prey in our area. It's not, because it has, like, falcons and stuff, too, which is not technically, like, a hawk, but, anyway. Start splitting hairs. Look, splitting hairs, like a northern harrier.
Remember to put it in the middle. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, sorry. Doo-doo-doo.
Pretty.
So, there were a couple of birds flying over the fairgrounds for the Renaissance Fair, and I was like, those look like falcons, kind of. And I was like, it doesn't look like, the coloring is wrong, like, the dark band wasn't correct for a red-shouldered hawk. It was in the wrong area.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a falcon, but it looks too big to fit a falcon. So I was like, I don't know. I still don't quite know what it was because I didn't have long enough time to look at them. And they were very high up at one point. There were 2 of them circling over the fairgrounds. And they could have been falcons because I know that they're having a falconry booth where the people that actually, have the permits to have those birds and do their falconry things will be showing up and talking about the, historical aspect of that kind of thing. So it could have been they were just letting their birds loose for a while to fly over the fairgrounds. Could have been wild birds that I just don't know what they were.
Could have been a little bit of both.
Yeah, I have no idea. I really hope I get another chance to see them. And if I get a chance to go over to that booth, then maybe I can find out for sure whether it was their birds or not.
I've got my book. I can figure out what kind of falcon you are.
Got the book. I'm ready. Or I could just ask the guy.
But where's the fun in that?
Well, they're geeky about birds too, obviously, since they have them as, well, I wouldn't call it a pet because it's not really a pet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a working animal almost.
Yeah, it's like a working dog, but a bird.
You're not using it in the same way that you would to, like, survive. So it's kind of a cross between a pet and a working animal. I don't really... Yeah. Hermits. I love falconry. Anyway, totally tangenting again. So my second book is Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Susanna. Now I gotta get her last name right because it's not Callahan, it's Cahalan.
Middle. Put her in the middle. There you go.
On fire. Here she is on the cover looking a little bit disheveled. So, I'm reading this for my book club.
Oh, how is it?
It's pretty good so far. I actually went out and bought the copy because this is a book that I wanted to read, even before we decided to read it for book club.
Okay.
And it was super cheap, and like double on sale at Target or something, so I just was like, I don't want to have to go all the way over to the library. I'll just buy it. Because I'm crazy, I guess.
Well, yes.
But,
because you don't have enough books.
Yeah. Well, I always figure if I don't like it, I'll donate it. you know?
There you go.
So she was and is. This is a true story of hers. She's a investigative reporter. I forget for who. New York Post, for the New York Post. Anyway, so she gets some kind of brain encephalitis where something started happening, swelling somewhere, and the physical things that her body was doing basically made her go crazy. Like she was losing her mind crazy.
Wow.
But it was because of a physical thing that was going on in her brain. Like your brain was swelling and then it comes out as, I'm crazy, you know? So it's kind of her story of what happened to her. And a lot of it is pieced together through third-party reports, like from her dad's journal and, you know, from what her friends say and the video, because there was like a security video for her hospital room, you know, so some of it's that. Because at some point, she doesn't remember anything. You know, just completely gone, like a few, you know, month or so of her life or whatever. But it's really interesting, you know, seeing what she went through, and it's kind of a downer to read because it's not like pleasant, you know. She's going crazy, and her family's like, "Oh God, you know what's going on?" And because this is such a rare thing, what happened to her, you know, she could have just been put away in a mental institution and written off as crazy, and then probably died because of what was going on physically with her. So she kind of wrote the book also to bring light to her condition because it's such a newly diagnosed kind of thing. And she got lucky because she ended up with a doctor that finally figured out what was going on with her and that she wasn't, like, going crazy, you know.
Right.
She had something physical that was going on that was causing her to go crazy, so. So I'm, like, 3/4 of the way through that, and I'm liking it, but I can't just sit down and read the whole book because it's depressing, you know?
Yeah.
It's really sad, you know, like, her dad's, like, really worried, and, you know, her dad and mom don't talk, so they have, like, a little notebook where they write notes to each other about what's going on with her that they leave on the bedside, you know? So that's kind of sad, you know, just...
Yeah. Talk about, I mean, wow, that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're with someone, you know, or, like, separated from someone that you really can't stand, but you have to be in your daughter's life because she's, like, lost it, and nobody's going to care for her except, you know, her parents and everything, and so...
Yeah, wow.
Well, it's really, like, it's good, and so far I would recommend it. I'll let you know when I get all the way through what I really, you know, like, finally think about it, but it kind of reminds me of Girl Interrupted. I don't know if you ever read that one.
I think I saw the movie.
Yeah. It's close enough to, you know, to the book that...
But it was just a long time ago.
Yeah. But it's another kind of the, you know, mental institution, you know, I'm going crazy, what's wrong with me kind of thing. You know, and it's not an uplifting read, even though it's a good book, it's not uplifting.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I've been reading.
Okay, are we ready to go on?
You bet.
All right, for I Spy this week, I went hiking.
Yeah.
And I also went to it's like a local park that somebody spent a lot of money for, so it's kind of like a garden.
Oh, yeah.
And in that garden, I saw a wood duck.
Ooh.
It was so pretty.
They are cute. Oh, so cute.
So
I
pretty.
think if I remember right, those are the ones that sound like a little doggy squeaky toy when...
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
These pictures don't do real life justice.
Yeah.
So I saw him at the little garden. I have a pond there. And then I saw these scrub jays. This one, it says underneath it that this is the Santa Cruz jay, and they only are found on the Santa Cruz Island. And I'm like, but mine looked more like that one than this one. But the other one is the Western scrub jay, but it's got to be a Western scrub jay.
Right.
It's some kind of blue jay. But they were very pretty, and I saw two of them. Saw one of them when I was hiking, and I can't remember where I saw the other one. Oh well, can't remember. But that's what I have been out seeing lately. I didn't go to the beach because it was too cold, so nothing from out there. What about you?
Yeah. Speaking of jays, I heard a jay scolding somebody recently. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but we have a lot more cats in the neighborhood. We have a bunch of people have moved in and out of the neighborhood recently, so I think we have more like 6 new cats on our block or something. It's ridiculous. So he probably was just really upset about a cat somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him, though, as much noise as he was making. And then when I was out volunteering, I saw and heard the weirdest thing. It sounded like it was a hummingbird, and it sounded like he was in the middle of a bush, like he was beating his wings on the bush, like he was beating up the bush. I don't know. It was a personal problem. I have no idea.
Oh,
it was
tangent.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I saw a hummingbird. I forgot. I was walking to work, and there's this one house that's right next to my school, and they have this really nice garden, and it's kind of like a wildish garden. You know, they plant stuff, but they all intermingle and that kind of stuff. And so there was this hummingbird, and he was going crazy over these nasturtiums.
Yeah.
And it was just really cute. So, okay, hummingbird, your turn.
Yes. Oh, no, that's about it.
Okay.
Other than a few, like hawk-like things that I haven't been able to pin down what they were. It wasn't just those things that I'm pretty sure were falcons. And there was another bird. It was probably a red tail, but I really don't know. It was so high.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. But he needs to get closer. Doesn't he know I'm trying to ID him? I'm supposed to be gardening while I'm doing that, by the way. I'm like, oh, the birds. Oh, I still don't know what that hummingbird was doing. The sound of it was so strange to me. I was like, what is that noise? It sounds like a hummingbird having an argument, but then I looked over and he was just beating up the bush. There was no other hummingbird there.
Got a little excited. Okay? We're just working off a little energy.
He obviously didn't care for that bush. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of mating display. I just have never seen or heard anything like that before, so it was very strange to me. Oh, look, I finally finished ripping seams. Yay!
Yay! For ear party this week, do you have anything?
I do. I was listening to old country music from, like, the 60s, so it's not that old, but, I really love Patsy Cline.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty much listening to every song of hers that I could find on YouTube. Some favorites being Crazy and I Fall to Pieces. And then I found a couple new singers that I haven't heard before. One of them is Conway Twitty. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but looks like Twitty. And if his name is not pronounced that way, I'm sorry, Conway, but you have a very weird last name. So, and the song I liked of his was a live version of Hello Darlin'. So I'll link to those. And I've also been listening, of course, Renaissance Fair, a lot of folk music and stuff because of that. So I've been singing myself hoarse with every single folk song that I know. I've been singing over the weekend, so it helps pass the time.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to connive one of the, a songbook off of someone, so we'll see. What about you?
I have been listening to a band called Delta Spirit, and I saw them live, which was really fun. I found them through a blog. It's called deuce.com. I'll link to it.
Okay.
She is now a mommy blogger, but she has been blogging for 13 years, so her blog goes really far back. And she does a couple of things that I like. One is that she's really into music, mostly like contemporary rock, alternative rock, kind of like Radiohead is her favorite band. Gives you an idea of her taste. But she posts with some regularity new stuff that she's found. And that's one of the ways that I like to find new music. I tend to like at least one or two of the things that she's picked out. The other things that I enjoy from that website are she also does a link roundup of stuff that she's found on the internet, and a lot of that stuff is pretty cool too. But anyway, so that's how I found them, and I pretty much like everything on their latest album. So, and one of their songs called California is, it has a line on it. I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but it's pretty much like, I want you to move to California for yourself. You know, just like, I want you to have an adventure for yourself.
Right.
I want you to find somebody to love you. Because I love you so much, I want you to find somebody that loves you.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I like that. And there's another song called Empty House, which is sad and reminds me of our old empty house. It's not empty, really, but it's empty to me because we're not in it.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's what I've been listening to.
That's pretty cool.
Walks in the Urban Wilderness.
I have walked so much. I've lost track. The fairgrounds are 24 acres, and I walked around them several times, several days. I'm so tired. and then I went to the rancho, which is only 4 or 5 acres, and was walking around there.
So you got your 4 walks in.
I got my walks in. I'm not even counting anymore. It's ridiculous. I need to come up with some other fitness goal, because I'm totally getting walking in. I am.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I can't think of like how else to put it. So I was thinking I'm getting walking in, and that's not a problem anymore. So maybe what I ought to do is like relaxation exercises, like days of meditation, you know, half hour of meditation here or there or whatever.
So what are you going to add in for next week so I can badger you?
Let's start off with 2 15 minutes, maybe 15-minute sessions of meditation.
Okay.
Because it helps, you know, calm me down and keep my stress levels low, which is always good.
Yes. They have done so much research. Meditation is just good for you. It's never bad for you.
Pretty much. Unless you do your breathing wrong and you pass out. But don't try so hard.
Yeah. And, you know, I've been thinking about doing some more meditating, too. And you can't do meditating wrong. You know, like, people, like, beat themselves up about not meditating right. And, like, I can't do it. And just
I can't
try.
empty my mind.
Just sitting there with the intention to try is enough.
Exactly. I think so. You know, and it's like, oh, I'm thinking of things when I shouldn't be, and yada yada, and it's like, just sit still. Just sit still as much as you can. If you can't, you can't. Just try to calm down. That's all.
I went to a talk about, like, meditation, and I love this analogy. He made this analogy. So, when you take children to play soccer, and they're 4 and 5 years old, you know, a lot of it is they're just kind of running with the ball, and they pick up the ball, and you say, oh, put the ball back down. You know, you stop the game, you have them put the ball back down. Remember, we're going to kick it only. And then a couple minutes later, somebody picks up the ball again, so you have to remind them, you got to put the ball back down, and then you're going to kick it with your feet. And then a couple years later, when they're 6 and 7, most of them are getting the idea that they need to kick the ball. And they're kind of playing the game. And by the time they get to 8 and 9, they're actually playing some kind of version of soccer. It's actually soccer now.
Yeah.
And meditation is like that. And so you are a little kid doing meditation. And so just gently tell yourself to put the ball down. You know, you're not going to scream at a 4-year-old to put the ball down.
At least we hope not.
So, I just really like that analogy, just that gentle feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Of it. So, I like that goal. So, my update, I went to yoga.
Yay!
It was really good. I love this studio. almost all the people in it are at least 40 and above. So, and it was like a full class, you know, it got a dedicated following. And you know, a studio with a dedicated following is something, you know.
Right.
And so this studio does Iyengar yoga, which is a practice of yoga that makes it yoga accessible to anyone, no matter what your age or abilities are. So, and it, especially with the beginning part of yoga, like the stage that I'm at, it's doing the poses for longer amounts of time. So you really get to feel the pose. And it's also using all kinds of props and blocks and all kinds of things to make you get benefit out of it, even though you're not super flexible yet.
Right.
So all the poses that we did were using props and stuff, so I can't do them at home, which I was a little bit disappointed with, but I think that's just the level class that I went to is like that.
Right.
I think as you go up in levels, then there's more poses that don't use so much props and stuff.
Right.
But this is the first studio I've been to that has ropes on the wall. So there's these giant screws screwed into the wall, like hooks screwed into the wall, and ropes attached. And then like you stick your legs in the ropes and then you bend over. So you have this extra like push back or pull on the ropes. Because the other thing about Iyengar yoga is that it's all about the contrasting motion of the muscles. So like these ropes help you have that contrasting motion of the muscles before you have muscles, right? Because I don't got muscles right yet, you know, so it helps you have that feeling before you've really developed it. You really can get into the pose that way. So I really, really liked it, and my back felt so much better. And then I went hiking for 3 hours right after yoga.
That's crazy.
Which probably wasn't the best idea, but my back was fine. My legs were a little tired, but worked out just fine. So, and then I got my walks in because I went hiking, and I'm going to be walking to work tomorrow, so I'll have my walks in too.
Woohoo!
Yay!
So that's great. I'm glad that studio worked out for you.
Yeah, and it's a little one room. It's just like the cutest thing. I like the studio a lot, so.
That's good.
Yeah, and I got to figure out some way to strap my yoga mat to my back so I can walk there, because it's within walking distance, and then parking's such a pain there, so I'd much rather just walk and not deal with it.
Exactly.
Are we on to random remnants?
I think this whole episode has been random remnants.
Random remnants?
I'm out of random. I've randomed already.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, we are. I think so. That's it. Anything else random? I guess not.
I'm starting to eat more fresh food, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. We need to do that at our household.
Yeah, I read a book called Garbology.
No. You read a book
called Garbology, and it's all about trash and how much garbage we make, pretty much, and the sad facts related to that. And it really made an impact on me, but I haven't really done much about it, because it's really hard in our society to live without making trash.
Yep.
So, one of the things that I'm trying to do is buy less packaged food.
It's hard.
It is hard, but I can go to the farmer's market, and it's also very hard for you because you don't have an oven and a stove.
Yes.
But I can go to the farmer's market and buy food that's never been packaged. It's never seen a package. It was never in a package, never gonna be in a package. It came out of the earth, went into a bin, and now it's at the farmer's market. The farmer's market, however, is a little bit more expensive because it's locally produced and, you know, they have to make a living. So the other thing that I'm going to be trying to do is composting. I have a plastic bin that I'm going to take, my partner is going to take the bottom off of, and then we're going to put it on the dirt and start layering things. And that way it'll have a easy lid. And it kind of uses a plastic tub that I don't know what else to do with. Because I've been getting rid of so much stuff, you know. I mean, I guess I could give it to Goodwill and stuff, but I'm going to do that. We looked into other options for building compost bins and things, but since we're going to be moving and, we're not here for forever, so we just didn't really want to invest in building something. One of the ideas that I liked, if you have the space, is to just lash together 4x4, or not 4x4, but pallets. You just get 4 pallets and strap them together and toss stuff in.
Yeah.
Because it's already aerated,
Right.
made out of wood, so.
Are you going to do the whole worm option? Are you going to add any worms?
I'm going to see how it goes first. And we have lots of birds that come around and hop around in our yard, so I know I've got stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because they've got to be eating something. So
right.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Chris was really excited about, what do you call it, vermiculture, I guess. He wanted to have a whole bin in the back and raise the worms and everything, and I'm like, honey, we don't make enough scraps to, start a compost bin, we really don't. We don't, when we eat at home, we don't really produce much food waste to begin with, and we don't eat at home all the time, so between the two of them...
What are you going to put in there?
Exactly, and I was like, I don't want to be raising worms just to be raising worms, sure, we could put them on our plants or whatever, make a little bit of compost, but that's a lot of work to be doing just to make some compost. Again, it comes down to space. So when we get a bigger place, I think that'll be on our list of things to do. But well, let me know how your composting adventures go.
Yeah, I will. I just brought the bin home because I had it at school and there wasn't really much in it, so I just transferred the stuff in and out. So we'll see.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think that takes us to the end of our show.
Yay! Thanks for joining us, guys.
Oh, show notes are at sistersoftheholyfiber.wordpress.com. You may leave us a comment there. You may leave us a comment on YouTube. Or you can come to our Ravelry thread. Let us know if you compost and how you do it. And Ear Party is always a fun time. Let us know what you're listening to and hop on in there if you feel like listening to some new things while you're crafting.
Yay! Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for joining us. Bye!
Bye! There's a dinosaur inside of her. I'm just gonna sit here and click my pens till then.
Okay.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries. Oh, ear party. I was like, eku party. I'm like,
we're having an ecru party.
I have no idea.